Welcome to On the Sidelines, the show that discusses sports and how sports can affect a person's life. I'm your host, Paul McGrath, and I'm glad that you could join us. We are fortunate today to have a recent graduate of Westborough High School to talk about what it was playing sports in Westborough, and now that he's ready to go to college, what he foresees in his college career. But before we begin, I'd like to mention that our photos from the Sidelines segment will have an added attraction. Thanks to the folks at Avidia Bank, we are introducing a trivia question with a great prize for the winner. All you have to do is email us at studio@westboroughtv.org with On the Sidelines trivia as the subject matter. I will repeat that information at the photos from the On the Sidelines portion of the show. But first, let's get to our guest. Our guest, Declan Gardner. Declan?
Thank you for having me.
Glad to be here. Declan is a recent graduate of Westborough High and has played sports in the town of Westborough for over the years. I think probably the first sport, Declan, was Little League Baseball or baseball.
Yep, correct.
And I think we have a picture here somewhere. I don't know if you're hitting a home run or what you're doing, but how did you get involved in baseball? What did you like about baseball?
Well, I always just played baseball like my whole life. I always grew up watching my brother play, so I knew like majors was a blast. Playing at Target Field with my friends was like, can't compare to anything. And I was fortunate enough to play All-Stars most years, and this picture is actually from All-Stars in 7th grade. So yeah.
Now, what position did you play?
They stuck me at like second base, third base.
What do you mean stuck? I mean,
yeah.
So some good, Pedroia, and there's some good players at those positions.
Yeah, nothing too flashy, but outfield. I pitch sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, small stuff then.
So did we ever make the All-Stars or the playoffs? How did we do in our?
I played on All-Stars a couple of years, and then the 7th grade year, we made it like past pool play or something like that, and lost in playoffs, but still was a blast.
So it's good to be in the playoffs. Whole different way of playing, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you played with different players. They just weren't players on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You get the mix.
All kids I knew.
Oh, kids you knew.
Yeah.
So you kind of felt in good.
Yeah.
So how many years did we play baseball?
I think up until 8th grade. Yeah, up until high school.
Up until the 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we get to high school.
Yeah.
And so baseball season, after baseball, usually it's football.
Yeah.
So we played football.
Yeah.
Here we are, number 58 on the Rangers. How many years did you play football?
So I actually played soccer my whole life.
Yeah?
I watched my older brother play, and I loved soccer. Played that up until high school, and then when I got to high school, I changed to football. So I played soccer and football at the same time in 7th and 8th grade. And then I chose to play football in high school, and I loved it because that's where all my friends were playing football. So I kind of followed them, and we just kind of had like a brotherhood with our grade. So I couldn't leave them, so it was a good time.
So what position were we in football?
Tackle. Offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle.
Yep.
So what were any memories there? Did we ever beat Algonquin?
We did. We beat Algonquin all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that was a successful year, no matter what the record was,
yeah,
I suppose.
I remember, a good memory from youth football was 7th grade. We had to beat Algonquin to make the playoffs in Westborough. It wasn't the norm to make playoffs, so it was a big deal for us, and we beat them. So we beat Algonquin then, and then freshman year we were able to beat Algonquin. Then we didn't beat them until my senior year, and we beat them pretty well. We beat them 51-14, so.
Well, that's a good way to go out.
Yeah, it felt good.
Yeah. So the year that you beat them to get into the playoffs, what
Yeah.
was that like, going to the playoffs? What happened there?
Well, we were so young, so we were just all so excited just to beat Algonquin. We all had that in our head that Algonquin was our rival. We were going into high school. We were like, wow, we hate these kids. So let's beat them now. So we did, and we grew that rivalry then. Stuck with until high school.
And they went all the way through.
Yep.
All right, so we go from football season, and you're stuck with it. Now, next thing I know, we're in basketball.
Yeah.
And we're playing in the rec league.
Yeah, big rec ball player. Yeah, played for Curry Printing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the rec league here in Westborough, and we're very fortunate in that the Westborough Cable shows both the Westborough Range of football and the rec league.
Yeah.
And so those games are here on the cable. And the rec league really is high for any high school boy. You don't have to go to Westborough High, but it's shown, and it's the place to be on Sunday morning. I think if you're not at church on Sunday morning, it seems like everyone's at rec league. It really does bring a crowd. I mean, you get more than just the kids there. You got the parents and the siblings. It's quite a rivalry.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Now, when you played that, you played on different teams though every year. How did that work?
Yeah, so every year there was a draft, and it was pretty competitive. Like the coaches draft the best players in the beginning. You try to like make your team as best as possible. Every year I was on Curry Printing. My dad's company would sponsor us. And yeah, each coach, I got picked by Coach Smith freshman year, and then again senior year. So you kind of stick with the same team if you get lucky enough. I was lucky enough to be with Coach Smith. But yeah, I was always on Team Curry.
But the players would change, right?
Yeah, the players
would change. Different. You're playing against different guys. And so were there bragging rights when you got to Westborough High in the?
Oh yeah, huge bragging rights. That's the only reason to play for it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing varsity, this is the place to be.
Yep.
And it was. I've been to a few on Sunday morning, and it's quite a show. And they're all there playing for your team. So that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, now we get to the part where all of a sudden we're playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
And this picture here, it looks like somebody's banging the head or something.
Yeah, I think I got hit on that one.
You got hit on that one, yeah. So what got you into lacrosse?
Well, my cousins were always big lacrosse players. And growing up, I was always just like soccer, baseball, basketball, just like the normal sports. Like lacrosse is kind of a new sport. It's growing.
It is.
But all my friends played, and like ever since we were young, we were always playing in the yard. But it was like all of them were on like Westborough youth lacrosse, and I wasn't. But I would still play with them, so I was always like I knew how to play. Like I knew the basics. And then 8th grade came around, and I was like I gotta at least try it before high school because I didn't really want to pick it up in high school. I wanted to know if I wanted to do it, and I loved it. Like I fell in love with it just because it was all my friends, and like it was a good team sport. And like it was something that like I knew I was good at, so I don't know. I fell in love with it.
All right. So you said the 8th grade.
Yeah.
So it wasn't high school. So is there a separate lacrosse league here in Westborough? Or?
It's youth.
It's youth.
It's just like baseball, any other sport.
So there is a league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just as a piece of trivia for you. I checked this out. If someone says, "What is the national sport of Canada?"
Yeah.
What would most people say?
Most people would say hockey.
They'd say ice hockey.
Yeah.
But what is the national sport of Canada?
Lacrosse.
It's lacrosse.
Yeah.
So I did check that out,
Yeah.
okay? And we're both half right,
Yeah.
okay? What happened in 1994 is Canada said the national sport of Canada is lacrosse for the summer,
Oh, okay.
but it's ice hockey for the winter.
Oh.
So Canada has 2 national sports, one for the summer and one for the winter. And I know you have relatives in Canada. I know a lot of people in Canada, and a lot of people will say, yes, we just have 2 seasons, winter and summer. And maybe that's why they have 2 sports.
Makes sense.
But lacrosse is the national sport, summer sport for Canada. And I did some research there, Declan, just so if you want to try and impress anyone. You know what the national sport of Turkey is?
Turkey. Soccer.
This is not a test. This is not a hard one. You're not going to get it.
Soccer.
Oil wrestling.
Oh wow.
Have you ever heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
You think you'd like to try that one?
Yeah, maybe.
See if Curry Printing will sponsor an oil wrestling team.
Yeah, I'll talk to my dad.
Yeah, talk to your dad. That would be a first here. You maybe get some publicity out of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw up here because myself and many people really lacrosse is a new sport to us. And what is lacrosse all about? Well, we see you have a ball.
Yeah.
Now I did some research. The circumference is 7 3/4 inches to 8 versus a baseball, which is 9 to 9.5. So it's a little bit smaller than a baseball.
Yeah.
But I assume it's pretty hard, like a
it's
puck,
all
a rubber puck.
It's rubber, so it's hard.
Rubber puck.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a different ball. My research says the ball can be white, yellow, orange, or lime green. What do we use? Why so many colors? Any idea?
Boys, I tend to use white, and
Yeah.
I think the girls' teams use like orange and yellow. Yeah, I think that's the only difference.
And the lime green is,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, so
I don't
it
know.
might be the different leagues, but
Yeah.
I remember Charlie Finley a number of years ago. He wanted to have, I think it was a yellow or an orange baseball. Thought you could see better, and he might be right.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Charlie was crazy, but he did have some innovative ideas. All right, so the ball's just a regular black ball. We have what do you call it? The wicket, the basket. What are you using?
Your stick.
Your stick.
Your stick.
Okay, you're using your stick. So let's look at the. Let's go back and look at the diagram here. There are, I believe, 10. Is it 10, 11? How many players?
10 people. 10 players.
10 players. So we have a goalie.
Yep.
And then we have, okay, so then there's 9 more players.
Yep. So
what do we have?
3 defense.
Yeah.
3 midfielders.
Yeah.
And 3 attackmen.
3 attackmen.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there such a thing, and I equate a lot to hockey, is there such a thing as offside in?
There is.
There is.
So the attackman can't go over the midfield line, but a midi can, and a defender can't. So a midfielder, there's 3 midfielders, and they can go anywhere on the field. And the defense have to stay on their side of the half, and the attackmen have to stay on their side of the half.
So does that mean there's only 3 people that can score? Or can a defender shoot from God knows where?
It's not just the defender. So 6 people, there can only be 6 people on each half of the field at one time.
Okay.
So if a midfielder wanted to go back on defense, if like a defender had the ball and he was running up,
Yeah.
a midfielder would just have to step over the line, and that defender would take that midfielder's spot. So it's really just like any 6 people. It doesn't. It could be like anyone, but you just can't have more than 6.
Okay, so you kind of have to watch.
Yeah.
I suppose one guy can't come over. If the ball is coming over to a certain area,
Yeah.
somebody else has to come out.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah,
how it
and an
works?
attackman can go offsides as well. Like if you're riding someone, like the defense stole the ball from the attackman and they're trying to get the ball to the other half of the field, and the attackman's trying to get the ball back from him, and you accidentally chase him over the midfield line. That's offsides, and that's a penalty.
offside.
And that's a penalty.
Well, that's one thing I see here on the diagram. We have something called a penalty box,
Yeah.
which I am used to in hockey. But so there are penalties in lacrosse. So what happens? What type of penalties? What can happen there?
So like a penalty. So you're allowed to hit people in lacrosse with like your stick, but they have to be like controlled checks. They have to be like at the person's stick or like kind of at their gloves. So like if you hit them like right here, you can get away with it sometimes, but you could get flagged. It's kind of like a gray area when there's a penalty. You can't hit anyone in the head.
Well, that one picture looked like you're getting it in the head there. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
take
can
one
happen.
for the team. Yeah.
A lot of stuff can happen, but yeah. So there's like 30-second penalties. There's like a minute penalties, depending on the degree of the penalty. Like the worse the penalty, the longer you're going to be in the box for. And so it's kind of like hockey where you're man up, and it's definitely a lot easier to score when you're man up, and like you're kind of expected to score sometimes. Like if you have a couple man ups in a game, you should score a couple times, or your coach will be pretty upset.
Well, how many men can be in a penalty box? I know in hockey you can be down 2 men.
You can be down like 3 men, I think at most for lacrosse. But
3 men.
That's very rare. That's just like that's a bad play. That's not good for the team for sure. Yeah.
But it does happen, I suppose.
It does happen.
Once in a while, something happens. Yeah.
It's definitely
So I
happens.
suppose if you don't score when you're 3 men down, the coach really would
Yeah.
not be too happy.
And when you
with it.
score, most penalties get released, but there's also penalties that are called like locked-in penalties.
Yeah.
And that's like it was probably a pretty bad or gruesome call. So if like the other team scores, the penalty is still in play for like however long that person was in the box for.
Okay. So how many the time on the penalties it can vary, I guess. It's not just like in hockey it's 2, 5, and 10, but in lacrosse it's a little bit
It's
different.
like 30 seconds, 1 minute, and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So now how many officials are there in lacrosse?
There's 2.
There's just 2.
Yeah.
And so they both can call offsides, both can call penalties.
Yeah, they both. So like one kind of stays like they spread themselves apart. So like
Yeah.
one probably goes like at like midfield, and the other one will kind of be near the attack and defense. But they run with the ball, and yeah, either one can make calls. But it's like kind of like basketball. Like the closest guy to the play makes the call normally.
So when you play defense,
Yeah.
is it man-to-man, zone? How do you?
A lot of teams play man-to-man. A lot of teams play zone. I know Westborough played zone towards the end of the year, so it's
Yeah.
like kind of like basketball. You can pick and shoot.
So you're allowed to play it.
It's a strategy.
Do you ever, during a game, switch from zone to man, or you kind of stay with it?
It's like any sport. Like if something's not working, you obviously try to change things up. It's like strategic. So
yeah,
I know we played zone. Just because it'd be like easier to guard sometimes. But yeah.
So any particular game or team you remember? And you played 4 years at Westborough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any particular
a game that I remember, probably this year against Wachusett. We were down a couple goals and we like rallied back, and we got it within one with like couple seconds left, and then we got sent to overtime, and we had control of the game because we were coming back and we had the momentum. And one of my friends, Aiden Burke, is like one of my best friends, just iced it and hit a shot, and we all just stormed the field. And that was definitely my best memory.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
So how long? What is the time for a game? Is it 60 minutes?
Yeah, it's four 15-minute quarters.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know once in a while I watch a soccer game. It's like the game is over, but the game isn't over. The clock keeps going.
No, there's no extra time.
So in lacrosse, when the game's over, the game really is over.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Because the clock gets stopped. Like
they do stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it stops time. If the ball goes out of bounds, it's a goal. Stop time.
Now, what's the size of the field? Is it the same as a football?
Yeah, it's 100 yards.
Oh, it's exactly 100 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I was reviewing this, and I might be off here. I was reviewing that when the ball goes out of bounds, the ball goes to the team closest to it. Is that true, false?
That's true for a shot. If it was like a shot
For a shot on goal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the ball goes out of bounds.
That team that shot it gets, it's the person closest to it.
So like that attackman or that defender, there's often like a race to the ball.
Yeah.
And like people like, whoever gets closest gets the ball, and that's huge. Like, because you gain possession, and possession's like is like the name of the game in lacrosse. You need possession to win the game. For like passing, if like I was just trying to pass to my teammate and we messed it up and the ball went out of bounds, other team would get the ball.
Okay, for this, that'd be like basketball for girls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so there is a difference. So
yeah,
you say, no, I was trying to shoot that thing, right?
So if you shoot the ball and the ball goes out of bounds, like it's not that big of a deal if you like maintain possession.
Right, you do maintain. So that's a big difference there. Like in basketball, it's whoever went off last.
So it's it's not a big deal if like you take a shot and you miss. It's just like keeping shots going. More shots go, more goals will happen.
Now, when you play, you shoot lefty, righty. Does it matter? Do you go back and forth?
Well, it's just whatever your strong hand is.
You do,
but you want to have good stick skills with both hands, just because if you keep it all in like your strong hand, it's pretty easy for defenders to pick up on that and just like take the ball away from you. So you need to have both hands.
Now, when you go out there at the game, the beginning, does the coach say, "You got this fella, you got that one"? Or how do you line up and know who you got him?
For me, since I'm an attackman, that's like it's kind of opposite. Maybe other coaches say that about us.
They're saying that about you.
Yeah. But like our coach definitely did talk to our like defenders, like picking and choosing who would be on who. Like if there was a really good player, we'd obviously put like our best guy or our best defender on him. So like you do choose who you want to go against.
Okay. Now, all this time, you're still going to high school. You still have to study.
Yeah.
Because the goal is to get to college. But also, we have something, I believe it's called Mr. Westborough High, WHS? Or what is that?
WHS, yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah.
There you are. What, that's your mother?
Yep.
Mother Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
What, pray tell, are you and your mother doing there?
Well, this was the, what do we call it? Like fashion. This was the fashion show.
Oh, I see.
Part of the segment. Yeah, you just dressed up in like a tux and you walked your mom out, or you walked anyone you could choose and kind of just modeled for the crowd. And we got judged on like our stage presence, our confidence. So
how about your mother? Was she enthralled to do this? Or
she's excited.
She's okay?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a beauty contest. There's more segments to this competition.
Yeah, like I had to dance, I had to act.
Who'd you dance with?
There was like 10 guys.
Yeah.
10 seniors got chosen for the Mr. WHS.
Yeah.
We had like an opening dance, and we also had like everyone had to have a talent.
So what was your talent?
Jump rope. I didn't have that big. Yeah.
You're very creative.
It wasn't like wow.
So now did you have to jump rope on stage?
Yeah, I did a little dance to like push it to the limit. It was a little like choreographed dance with jump ropes.
And no tripping. You get through this?
Yeah, I tripped a couple times in practice, but never.
And when the show was on, you were good.
Yeah, you practiced a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what else? What other segments were there?
I acted, so I had to act like Dora the Explorer.
Uh-huh.
What else? There was swimwear, so like we did modeling, but it was like swimwear. So like this was like serious clothes, and
Yeah.
I was wearing like a bathing suit. What else?
Now this is just boys, right?
This is just boys. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the title?
Mr. WHS.
And is it open to all classmen or just seniors?
Just seniors.
This is it.
And you get chosen to do it.
You get chosen.
Yeah.
So how many were in the competition?
10.
So that's pretty an honor just to get down to the 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I was happy to do it.
You happy to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
You loved it?
Yeah.
So that is held where? At the Westborough High at the auditorium?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a good crowd?
Very. It was a packed house.
So who are the judges?
I know Mrs. Bach, our superintendent, was a judge. Mr. Dabolite, Mr. Vaver, who I think he's in Wassa. I think those were the 3 judges this year, but I know it's like my dad was a judge one year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's always like the superintendent, so it's just like important people from the community, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you had a great time.
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it. And
Yeah.
hopefully you were studying somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So now we've done this.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, we're hopefully going to class. And in the meantime, we're looking ahead for college. So what did we look for? What did we look at?
When I was looking for college?
Yeah, what did we look at? What was any particular colleges? Did we look at more than one? How do we attack college?
So I did like a club team, like kind of like a showcase team that we'd go to last summer going into senior year with one of my friends, Aiden Burke, the kid who hit the shot. We played for like Central Mass Kings, and the coach for that team was my Westborough High coach, so I knew him, so we were on the same team, and we just like went to tournaments, and I went to a tournament in Lake Placid, and I stayed with a family they're friends with my cousins, and the daughter there went to St. Rose and actually played soccer for St. Rose, so she was telling me about St. Rose, so like telling me I should like go and like check it out, so I did. That fall I went to like their prospect day, and I just tried out with the team, and it was like a good fit. There were other prospects there, and I guess you could say I made it, and the coach showed interest, and I loved the school, and I loved the coach. I liked the players too, so it seemed like a good fit. I applied, got in, yeah, and here we are.
So that was one and done?
No, I played a couple schools.
You did look at other,
I knew St. Rose was
Rose was number one on your hit parade.
Yeah, I didn't really have any other I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Now, any particular major yet? Are we undecided? Where are we going there?
I'm going in as a business administration major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're ready to go?
Yeah.
You'll be there before you know it.
Yeah.
Well, as you may know, St. Rose is in Albany, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Their nickname is the Golden Knights.
Yep.
So, of course, many people remember in hockey this past year, the Vegas Golden Knights went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
But you guys were the Golden Knights before the Golden Knights were the Golden Knights.
Correct.
So, a very good team.
Yeah.
And in 2011, the Golden Knights, the women's soccer team, went to the finals, national finals.
Yeah.
The preliminary rounds, they played Merrimack College up here in North Andover, the Merrimack Warriors. They beat them 5-0,
Yeah.
which is quite a score in soccer.
Yeah.
Then they played UMass Lowell Riverhawks, again, another top team.
Yeah.
They defeated them 2-1.
Yep.
They played Pennsylvania, the Vulcans. They beat them 1-0. That got them to go to Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
In Pensacola, Florida, they played Armstrong Atlantic State, the Pirates down there from Savannah, Georgia, and they beat them 2-0. So now they got into the championship game, which was to be played on December 3rd, 2011, and they were playing Grand Valley State Lakers, who I never heard of, but the Grand Valley State Lakers are from Allendale, Michigan, and they have 25,000 students with 22,000 undergrads.
Wow.
And St. Rose is playing them with 4,000 students and 2,500 undergrads. So I think St. Rose was like David and Goliath here.
Yeah.
Grand Valley was the 2-time defending champ. Here we have little old St. Rose coming up.
Yeah.
And at halftime, St. Rose trailed 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers had never given up more than one goal a game.
Wow.
And St. Rose was down 1-0. St. Rose came back to win 2-1.
Wow.
So that was a big deal for the St. Rose Golden Knights. And I think we have here a clip that we want to show. I don't know if you ever saw this, Declan, but what it's like at St. Rose when you have a championship team. In soccer.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, we'll quickly show one of the famous alumni of St. Rose.
Now, Jimmy Fallon.
Here we go. We're going to show
TV history.
At midnight, the St. Rose grad launches the next wave for The Tonight Show. And News Channel 13's Dan Levy is live tonight at St. Rose at the viewing party that's already underway. Hey, Dan.
Hi there, Jim. You know, there's no college campus in America that is beaming with more pride tonight than this one here in Albany, New York at the College of St. Rose. The crowd, when they saw themselves on the big screen, went crazy. There's more than 300 people here on this campus. And, of course, many of these students probably never heard of Jack Parr or Steve Allen or Johnny Carson or Jay Leno, but they all know who Jimmy Fallon is. He is one of them. He grew up in Saugerties, New York, but Jimmy was a student here on the College of St. Rose in the 1990s, earned his degree in 2009, the same year he was given a doctoral degree. And if Courtney can hear me, Courtney Carr is a junior here at the campus, and she organized this party. Why did you organize this party?
Well, Jimmy Fallon is a huge deal here, and we constantly look for opportunities to get back to the students. So being able to show the
There you go. Famous alumni from St. Rose.
Yeah.
Next one will be Declan.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
we wish you well there. We're going to go now to the pictures from on the sidelines portion. And many of us like sports. Many of us like photography. So I say combine it. See if you can take a picture, get it autographed, see what you can do with it. Now, this here is a picture of Greg Harris, who pitched for the Red Sox from 1981 to 1995. We're going to have a little trivia with this thanks to Avidia Bank. We have prize. We have a dozen Pro V1 golf balls and a golf hat and a golf towel. So if someone can give me the trivia answer, that's going to be the prize, and we'll get to the trivia question in a minute. But Greg Harris won 74 and lost 90 overall with a 3.69 ERA. He played for the Red Sox from 1989 to 1994. But the big thing about Greg Harris that we remember, those of us that remember him, was he had an ambidextrous glove. A glove that he could wear on his left hand, a glove that he would wear on his right hand. So all this lefty-righty batter stuff he could do with a pitching glove. And we all wanted him to do that while he was a member of the Red Sox. But the Red Sox would never let him do that. But on September 28, 1995, he pitched the top of the ninth for the Montreal Expos. And he pitched right-handed to Reggie Sanders, who grounded out, shot to first. The next two batters were lefties, so he did switch the glove. He pitched lefty, and he walked Hal Morris. And then he pitched to a fellow by the name of Ed Tabensi. And if you're a real Major League fan, you'd remember him. I don't. But anyway, Ed grounded out, catcher to first, with Morris moving to second. So now he had two out and a man on second, and he switched the glove again. He went back to pitching righty to a fellow by the name of Brett Boone, and Brett Boone lined out to the first baseman. The glove is in the Hall of Fame. And as a sidelight, the Expos lost that game 9-7, and the losing pitcher was a fellow by the name of Pedro Martinez. I think we remember Pedro with the Red Sox. That was Pedro's last game for the year, and he finished up with a record of 14-10. So, the trivia question is, give us the date that this picture was taken. I'll give you a hint. It was at his earlier time with the Red Sox. Again, he played from 1989 to 1994, and it was not taken in the months of January through July. So give me the month, the date, the day and the year. First person to get the exact or closest to wins our gift from Avidia Bank. And here is, just email us at this email here. Get us to us by the time we do the next show. And those Pro V1s and the whole golf package is yours. So that wraps it up for On the Sidelines. Declan, thanks for coming. We want to wish you the best of luck at the College of St. Rose. Best of luck with your college career. Best of luck with the lacrosse. Stay in touch. Let us know what's going on.
I will. Thank you for having me.
So that's it. This is Paul McGrath from On the Sideline saying, if I don't see you at the game, and if you're not in the game, I hope to see you on the sidelines. Thanks again. Dex?
Thank you.
Great job. Okay.